Yeah, my name's Todd Blatt. I'm a maker. This is the Baltimore node. I don't know. I think for me, I just were started out picking a project I didn't know how to finish when I started, and along the way, I'd learned the skills that you need to make that product or make that project. So, the first time I made a mold, I hadn't made a mold yet, but I needed to make copies of something, so I learned that along the way. I think that's important too. I don't know. I think to the question of who's a maker, I don't think the answer is everyone. I think everyone wants to say, yeah, everyone's a maker. Yeah, and I think everyone can be a maker, but there's those T-shirts at Walmart that are $10, and you can buy one of those shirts, and then there's those websites where you can like design a T-shirt and make your own, and it can also be $10. And there are some people who will go and buy the shirt from the store, and some people who will like use the website designer to make their own shirt. And I think that the most part of the people who want to design their own thing, who want to go to a makerspace and create something new and create their own thing, those are the people that are makers. Whether or not they have the skill to do it is not if you're a maker or not, but it's if you have the desire to make something new, to create a new thing, to make something or modify something to be the way that you want, versus to buy a thing from Walmart that already exists. That's I think where the divide is. That's the split where if you're a maker or not a maker come down to that category.
All right. So you personally, what do you do for a make?
Well, I have a mechanical engineering degree from UMBC, and I worked as an engineer for a few years. But on the side, I was just creating things, and I built some stormtrooper armor, and I went to this gathering of Star Wars part collectors, and I started making things for people who had other projects, and I use digital fabrication like the CNC routing and 3D printing, and I do molding and casting and a lot of laser cutting. And I make a lot of movie prop replicas and 3D printed jewelry and parts for other people for their projects. So I have a whole bunch of prop replicas. I have a bunch of things here if you want to look at these. There's a lot of different 3D printed jewelry, jewelry that are things from movies. So there's Doctor Strange's ring. These are Han Solo and Carbonite pieces. They go on the side of the full scale block, and these are like folded sheet metal that are cut a very specific way. And I learned how to design, which I think is the most important step in making, is learning how to design. So I went in the computer. I created the blueprints for a factory. I found a factory and said, hey, use these blueprints and create these designs. There's a lot of like molds and things that I cast from molds and chemically etched things. I do a lot of like Kickstarter campaigns where I do products like the Hodor doorstop. I've done all these like the Death Star plans from Rogue One, and a lot of these different either exact movie prop replicas or kind of tongue-in-cheek joke things that are related to TV shows and movies. And through the years doing this, I've had people contact my company, custom3dstuff.com, and say, hey, we saw that you did this, could you make that? And through that I've been able to make like actual original movie props. So like for the new Twin Peaks TV show, I got to make the ring that they were using in the show, and Stephen Colbert needed a prop one time, so I made a thing for that. And like local indie films needed like a space visor that lit up, and there's this collectors that want replicas of things. This is a silicone mold, like a brush-on mold for a face mask, like the head here from Friday the 13th Part 2. So I got to 3D scan the original prop and then 3D print it and make molds and cast copies for collectors. So a lot of that recreation, and then using the skills that I learned at the space, and then the design skills that I had acquired ahead of time to create new things that way.
So if somebody were interested in pursuing the same kind of things, what would you recommend they do to get started?
I mean, design is very important. So learning AutoCAD or Fusion 360 or any of the 123D app programs are really important. Like even kids, they start on Tinkercad and they can learn 3D modeling there. But to be able to use a lot of the machines and a lot of the new technology, you have to create that original design. So you can't go to the 3D printer and give it a sketch from a piece of paper and say, print this. You have to be able to create that model, or be able to express your idea to someone else who can already 3D model. So I don't think everyone needs to be able to do the 3D design or CAD design, but to be able to express your idea so someone else knows what to make from your ideas. No,
So
great.
anything
Thanks
you
for
want to
coming
offer?
out.